Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to this double anti-bingo race. Apologies for the delay between 64-bit Link and FusionWarrior. I don't have the bingo sync room, so I'm just gonna go by what's on stream. And let's have a look at this card. So, looking at it, the top left, collect X energy tanks and 11 minus X reserve tanks. So that basically means collect 11 energy and reserve tanks combined. That's a lot of collection. Wreck ship reserve tank, you need speed for that. That can be deceptively hard. Criterion map station is free. Collect only one of wave beam or charge beam. Most people will opt for charge. Meridian power bomb is down one of the sand pits. Defeat Crocomire, skip high jump boots. Skip high jump boots, also another deceptively hard. Tile, not having high jump boots slows you down a lot. All 50 Meridian super missiles. 35 plus power bombs, that's a lot of collection. Finishing metal pirate room, 4 plus energy tanks. Collect all wreck ship super missiles. Skip high jump boots is there as well. Grapple beam, defeat Golden Teresa on Spore Spawn, Criterion map station, or wreck ship map station. A lot of these are pretty simple, or a lot of collection. All 40 Meridian missiles. That's a tough one, actually. X-ray scope, finishing wreck ship, energy tank room. So these finishing tiles can actually lock you out of a tile, so that's something to watch out for. 10 plus power bombs, Meridian map station, both free. Destroy one statue. It's pretty free, but you have to go all the way back to the statue room and watch it blow up. There's 6 energy tanks. Collect space jump and skip high jump boots. Collect grapple beam or wreck ship energy tank and Brimstone reserve. So not any particularly difficult ones. There's a lot of collection. So FusionWarrior has forced column 1 for 64-bit Link, which is a pretty good one to force looking at it. So he's got to skip high jump boots, do all that collection for the energy tanks. All 10 wreck ships with missiles are free. Meridian missiles, like we said, is really time consuming and destroy one statue. Whereas 64-bit Link has forced row 2 for FusionWarrior. There's 4 energy tanks, 35 plus power bombs, finishing metal pirate room, collect all 15 Meridian super missiles, and defeat Crocomire. And he also has to skip high jump boots. So both of these are quite interesting. Probably the 2 hardest that I can see looking at this. So both good picks. Both a lot of collection. I've missed the first 10 minutes of the commentary trying to get set up, so I don't know if they collected. Oh, looks like 64-bit Link got Criterion map station. And I have a link to the bingo sync room now. Belfazar is on tracking today, so thank you to Belfazar for tracking. So FusionWarrior is going for either the missiles or Brimstone Reserve. He's going for Brimstone Reserve. Doesn't need it, but it can be a good backup for health. I'm not very good at deciding what rows they're gonna pair with it as well. So let's have a look then. We'll start with 64-bit Link. The energy tanks means they've pretty much got to go all around the map. You want to try and avoid lower Norfair if you can. There's nothing that forces lower Norfair, but there is something that forces Meridia. So if I was 64-bit Link, I would avoid lower Norfair altogether. go down, defeat Croc, get the Croc's energy tank, and then just peace on out of Upper North Air, and then just do all of your collection in Wreck Ship and Meridia. We want to avoid row 2. Row 1 is pretty good. So what I do if I was 64-bit Link, go down, get speed, and defeat Croc, get the energy tank, and then you can get Wreck Ship Reserve then. Already got Criteria Map Station, so it could be one that they're going for. You've already got Charge Beam. Meridian Power Bomb, if you've got to get the Meridian Missiles, you're passing it anywhere. So that's actually row 1 is really good for 64-bit Link. And column 5 is pretty free as well. So either or for them. And FusionWarrior, collect all 15 Meridia Super Missiles. So again, we've got Meridia, we're not forced. Oh, but Metal Pirate Room. So that's a bit more difficult. The 35 plus power bombs, most of them are in Brinstar and one in Meridia. Collect all 15 Meridia Super Missiles. You don't see that very often. I'm not actually sure where they all are. There's one that's hidden in the first room that you have to go to the right to get. There's one up by the beach. And the third one... Well, FusionWarrior going for Spore Spawn. And 64-bit Link going to Cred. Where is the third Meridia Super Missile? Oh, the Aqueduct, of course. Yeah, Aqueduct. So you need speed for that as well. So let's see if FusionWarrior can get a 2-round here. Okay, playing it safe. To get a 2-round, you need to get 2 super missiles in Spore Spawn's mouth in the first round. So yeah, FusionWarrior needs to finish in Metal Pirate Room, so that wants to be the last place you go is down to Lower North End. You actually don't need to get anything. There's a super missile there, a screw attack, but neither of them are on the board. Ooh, 64-bit Link missing the great quick kill. So actually, you want to have all your tiles finished before you enter Lower North Air and just go to the Metal Pirate Room. There's the power bombs there. I suppose you could go right and get the second Lower North Air power bombs if you need 35 plus. It's not too far out of the way. Yeah, nicely done, FusionWarrior, dealing with Spore Spawn. Gonna get these Spore Spawn supers. So what is he doing? Doesn't need these super missiles. Doesn't need Spore Spawn. Huh. There is a defeat Golden Teresa and Spore Spawn. I suppose if he's going to Lower North Air anyway, then he's already done the top one. 10 power bombs is free. Has to defeat Crocomire, so collecting grapple. And 4 plus energy tanks, so the Wreck Ship energy tank can be one of them. It's not too bad. Yeah, column 4. It's kind of hard to decide what you would pair with FusionWarrior's row 2. I think it's a lot simpler for 64-bit Link. It's a 64. I'm just going to call him 64-bit. It's coming down, getting this energy tank. We'll have to destroy the Nova there. Might get the missiles, but cannot get high jump. Okay, going to skip the missiles. Going to morph up here. So the trick to this morphing is similar to Alcatraz. You want to hold jump. Is you press away from the wall and then hold jump and just press down and you will instantly morph. It's kind of tricky to do if you don't know how it works. And it looks like he's given up and he's gonna get these missiles. These missiles pretty hard to dodge if you don't want to get them, so sometimes it's easier not to try and waste time and just collect them. It's 6.5 seconds. FusionWarrior going up red tower, destroying these turtles, whatever they are, is usually a pretty good way to deal with it and get up if your wall jumps, if you struggle with wall jumps. This little bit at the top is kind of hard to do. You have to do a slightly delayed wall jump. You have to press right and then wait a second before pressing jump to get up into that gap. And so if you look at 64-bit Link, here you can see why not having high jump boots slows you down. Little things like that where they've got a bomb jump up rather than just jumping. That's how high jump slows you down. There's quite a few areas where you have to do bomb jumps if you don't have high jump. So if there's a tile for skip high jump, it's always a good one to pick if it's paired with something good, like a difficult one or a lot of collection. Especially a lot of collection, because it will really slow you down. So FusionWarrior going down and getting these power bombs. Needs a lot of power bombs, so we'll probably see him go up and get the second red tower power bombs as well. Meanwhile, 64-bit trying to get up Bubble Mountain. The hardest boss, I think they call it. This little Cactac here at the top. And again, no high jump boots, so this is pretty hard to do. Another example. Gonna get speed. Yeah, that's a good play, that. Probably can't get wave. So this will be a good indicator of whether of which row or column 64-bit is doing. Is whether or not he gets wave. But it pretty much needs speed. Especially when you're traveling all around Meridia, that speed booster is going to help out a lot. But if you need wreck ship reserve tank, then you need speed to get through them blocks. Farming up a little bit here, and yet FusionWarrior going for this second power bomb pack. 35 power bombs is all but free. 2 of them are in Lower Norfair, 1 of them in Meridia, most of them in Brinstar. And yeah, there's getting eaten there. See if he goes up or not. It does go up. Could be going left to Gauntlet. Okay, so 64-bit Link does look like they're getting wave. So that rules out row 1. So my best guess, column 5. You got to go around Meridia, so Meridia map station is right there. 4 energy tanks is free. Already has 3, so it only needs 1 more energy tank. And Meridia Powerbomb, you've got to get the missiles, so you got to go down the sandpit anyway. So that's a really good pick if they're going for column 5. FusionWarrior did go left. I'm going to assume Gauntlet is the next player to get the Gauntlet energy tank. Saving, not a bad thing to do here, especially if you don't have any suits. Gauntlet can be very hard to do. Resetting. Why? I'm not oh! Turning Moonwalk on. Okay. Not sure if that's for anything in particular or whether they just prefer playing with Moonwalk on. I know I really struggle without Moonwalk now because I'm so used to it. At first it was a big struggle, but once you get used to having Moonwalk on, it's really hard to turn it off. You get so used to the little things like crouching and turning around. So 64-bit is going to save here, and then I would assume he's going to go down and defeat Crocomire. Also resetting. Is this for Moonwalk as well? It is, so there you go. Oh, turning it off. That's interesting. Okay, so one of the runners turning on Moonwalk, and one of them turning it off. There you go. FusionWarrior doing a good job here, getting through Gauntlet. Just Kojacting the ground right there. Having power bombs makes it a lot easier than having to bomb, especially this second room where you've got to get through the spikes. Okay, 64-bit in Crocomire. You cannot defeat Crocomire, you can only push him back. Every 100 damage is 1 step back, so a missile is 1 step back. Charge Wave Spazer is 2. A super missile is 3 steps back, it's 300 damage. And defeats him nicely. Shooting up diagonally there. We've got to watch out for the health. I think the door opens. So what 64-bit Link is doing there is called a wraparound shot. If you shoot up and to the right while standing in the lava there, hugging the wall, you actually open the door from the left. Your shot wraps around the screen and opens the door. It's a good little trick to do a short charge and charge right to the power bombs on the left. FusionWarrior collecting that energy tank and then piecing on out of there, not bothering going left to the missiles, saving again. And now I would guess he's going to go down into Brinstar and get all the Brinstar power bombs. Or could go straight to Wreck Ship. In which case, saving there is a good idea, because Phantom with no suits can be very difficult. Each hit does 40 damage, and those hits can quickly rack up. Who's winning? Really, really hard to say on this one so far. Both of them have got a lot of collection and completely different rows and columns and routes. And I've no idea who's ahead right now. FusionWarrior has to get 35 power bombs, which is all over the place, and 64-bit has to get 11 energy tanks, which is all over the place. Again, no high jump, 64-bit, struggling to get out of this room, choosing to shine Spark out of there. That's one way to do it. Secret speed booster blocks there in case you come from the left. FusionWarrior gonna go for the CWJ. I don't know if Fusion knows the diagonal bomb jump. The diagonal bomb jump is, unless you know how it works, is really hard to do. What you've got to do is lay a bomb, tap right, and then as soon as you start moving, ooh, got the frame but missed the second input. As soon as the bomb starts exploding or starts flashing, you lay another bomb at the peak of your jump, and then hold left, and then you have to tap right, and that is the tricky bit. It's really hard to explain, but the tapping right is the reason why you go right. You need to tap right and then let go of your inputs. And then as soon as you start moving, hold right. It's really hard to explain without, video demonstration, but that is the trick to diagonal bomb jumping, is the tap right. So Samus faces right, Samus bombs right. Otherwise, you don't have the momentum and you just fall in the mud. .64-bit going to get ice. Meanwhile, Fusion is trying to set up for the C2EJ. This is probably why Moonwalk was turned on, so you can more easily get into that door frame. I always struggle to do this. If I have to reset up C2EJ, I usually end up going into the left room and just hugging the door again. This is really hard to do. I don't know if Fusion plays on emulator or not. This is really hard to do on emulator because of the input lag, I find. Much easier to do C2EJ on console or Super NT. I don't think they're far enough in then. And it's quite easy to lose like a good 10 minutes in this room with C2EJ. Sometimes it's almost worth not going for it. If you can get it and you can get it quick, it usually gives you an advantage. But if you spend 10 minutes in here and your opponent meanwhile is going around and collecting all sorts of things, then it can lose you the race. So hopefully Fusion gets it in the next couple of attempts. That looks good in the door frame there. Oh, but misses the jump. 64-bit Link has collected ice and then is heading back up into Brinstar. Is going to need to travel all around Brinstar to collect all these energy tanks. So let me explain what dab is. For anyone that's new tuning in, dab or double anti-bingo is basically double bingo, but your opponent forces one row, column, or diagonal for you, and then you pick one that complements it. And the reason why we like doing this is because it adds a lot of strategy to the races. So if you have to pick a row, column, or diagonal that complements the one that is forced on you. And so when you start and you're going through series, it's a really good thing that series is in this. Because while you're going through series, and even as you're going down, collecting morph, collecting bombs, you're looking at the bingo board, you're looking at every row, column, diagonal, you're looking at which ones pair well with your forced row. You're looking at which ones you can't do. If you have a finishing tile, like FusionWarrior has to finish in Metal Pirate Room, cannot do any other finishing tiles. Which there is another one on here I saw somewhere. I'm sure there was. Yeah, finishing Wreck Ship Energy Tank Room. So FusionWarrior cannot do column 3, row 4. So it automatically locks Fusion out of those. And so you're looking at that and you're trying to find the best one to pair with what's forced on you. And usually you settle on one pretty quickly, but you don't settle on it permanently. So you pick one that works well, but then as you're going around, you're still looking and seeing if there's a better one that fits, and maybe you change your mind halfway through. 64-bit Link going very high there. And so we see the difference the CWJ is making. 64-bit Link has speed, gets over the moat pretty easily. Meanwhile, Fusion is still here. So hopefully Fusion gets through pretty quickly. Because 64-bit Link is now flying through wreck ship with speed. And he's going to go down and defeat Fantoon. Needs to do all that Meridia collection, so needs to defeat Fantoon and get Gravity Suit, or it would be extremely useful to get it. It'd be really hard not to. Yes, and FusionWarrior is through, so probably lost a good 5 minutes, 5+ minutes there, but not out of the race, because that has saved Fusion several minutes of not going down into upper north air first. 64-bit Link going for the Dopplers here. Has Wave Beam, so could have turned Spazer off, but chooses not to. To do with a good Doppler at Fantoon, you need to keep moving towards Fantoon and just spam missiles at, is it 350 beats per minute? There's a video on YouTube of the correct speed. Kind of like that. Like my doo-doo-doos. And defeating Fantoon nicely. Has various suits, so Fantoon only does 20 hits, and yeah, that didn't take too much effort. But FusionWarrior is going to have a bit more difficulty. Gets a fast right. Every hit for Fusion is going to deal 40 damage. So you see Fusion playing it a lot safer. Yeah, and you want to get 2 hits, wait a split second, another 2 hits, wait a split second, and then get your Doppler in as many missiles as you can. Sometimes it's easy to let Fantoon go off screen. It gives you a chance to clear out all these flames. And the flames are the hardest bit about doing Fantoon. They have, especially if you get a slow pattern and there's a lot of flames on screen, they have a way of just always being where you need to shoot. So 64-bit Link, getting the right wreck ship super missiles. Needs to get all 10, so these are pretty easy. One on the right, one on the... So going to get these ones on the left, and that's another tile ticked off for 64-bit. Fusion losing a lot of health now, is down to... I don't know how much... Oh, and another hit. So it can take 2 hits, and then the third one is going to eat into the reserves. I don't know how much reserves Fusion has. Yeah, 64-bit Link saving. Could be because they're going to get the energy tank. I would assume they are. Yeah. Gonna get a little bit of a run up here. Oh, and the atomic getting in the way. FusionWarrior enraging. You gotta watch out here. Enraging Fantoon. You can pseudo screw if the timing is really hard to shoot the flames as they appear. You can shoot the flames and farm them, but it's pretty hard to do. So 64-bit Link, damage boosting, triggering the reserves. That room is called the Spiky Room of Death. The reason being because it is very... anti-feast! Fusion survives. I think they went as low as 10 HP there, but does survive, gets through. Well done. That was close. I was looking at 64-bit Link, and then I looked to the right and saw the health, low health. Luckily, I had some reserves. So yeah, the Spiky Room of Death, it's called that because it's very easy to get trapped in the spikes there and lose a lot of health. You can easily Okay, go. Okay, gets it. That's a really hard jump to do there. With high jump, it's impossible, I think. I think it's impossible. But with that high jump, you've got to get to the far right of that platform and do a full jump to get across there. You can also do like a bomb jump across. But you got to watch out because that platform is always moving up and down, so it makes it really hard to do. So FusionWarrior, getting these super missiles, even if you don't need them, it's always worth getting them because they're right there. And super missiles always come in handy. Needs to farm a bit of health. He's going to save, that's a good play. So we see, look at 64-bit Link losing all this energy. So it lost 2 energy tanks going right to left. That's how dangerous Spectrum of Death is. FusionWarrior also going for that energy tank. No, he's not. I was wondering then for a second why. I still haven't figured out which FusionWarrior is pairing. Could have done top left to bottom right, but that's a lot of energy tank collection, and with the power bombs, you kind of want to avoid that. The grapple beam, you got to defeat Croc anyway, and Meridian super missiles. Yeah, it can't be top left to bottom right. That's too much collection if you have 35 plus power bombs already. Yeah, so the X energy tanks and 11 minus X reserve tank, we need to reword that tile. It basically means collect 11 energy / reserve tanks. So you can get either, as long as you have 11 combined. We really need to rename that tile. So it has just enough health to get through bowling. Fusion can take 2 hits going through bowling here. Probably wants to farm a little bit and get over 180, which would allow a 3rd hit just in case. It's always nice to have that leeway, especially in a race. Yeah, so right now, if you got 3, it would have 949. Excuse me. So each spike hit in bowling does 60 damage. So it has over 180. So now Fusion can take 3 hits, and you can play it pretty safe with 3 hits. Looks like they're going to go above 240, so that would allow a 4th hit as well. There we go, 4th hit. Or maybe just farming to full. But there's pretty minimal risk of dying to bowling here now. Meanwhile, 64-bit Link is avoiding these missiles. How much are we betting that they collect them on the way back? Always easy to do. Getting this reserve tank. Needs to get energy tanks and reserve tanks, so this is a good play here. Come down here. Oh, and remembers to morph. It is really easy to just speed boost left there and collect those missiles on the way back. I've done it many a times. FusionWarrior gets through bowling nicely and is ready to bowl a strike. So both of them are taking wildly different routes. I'd argue 64-bit Link is probably ahead at this point, but it really depends on the routing that both of them take as to whether or not 64-bit Link wins. So if I was 64-bit Link now, I would go into Brinstar and get all these energy tanks. Might get Gauntlet, has speed, so can do the wraparound, and that's an energy tank there. Gonna save and spark up right. So yeah, that's probably what 64-bit Link is doing. Doesn't need these power bombs on the right. So we'll probably skip them, but might do the wraparound. Having Spacer on gives it a little bit more leeway. Although I prefer having just wave, because if you know the exact spot that you need to be in, which is when the little bit of grass is flicking up. I don't have audio on for 64-bit, so I can't hear if they get it. Turning off ice. I don't think that makes a difference. But wave definitely, Spacer definitely makes a difference. Looks like they've got it. They're confident they got it. Or not. Sparking back up, unless he just fell down. It is easier to get a short charge on the top here, and then fall down, and then spark left. And did get it, yes. So he's gonna fly all the way through. So what 64-bit did then is a wraparound shot, similar to the one we saw at Crocomire if you were watching then. So if you charge a shot and then shoot down and right from that platform there with a bit of movement speed, your shot wraps around the screen and opens the door from the left. It can be done in a few places. It can be done in Crocomire. If you shoot down right, you can open the door on the left, and it can also be done in Retro Brinstar. If you shoot down right while falling down the shaft in the energy tank room, you can open the door on the left there. So those are the three that I know of. There's probably more that I don't know of, but those are the three that are used in 100% at least. Falling down Gauntlet doesn't need them missiles, so no need to worry yourself trying to get the perfect center there. Yeah, the exit here is on the left. Or maybe just farming some power bombs here. There we go. FusionWarrior going down the Forgotten Highway. The route that is not used in any of the major categories, aside from Arbio. But you never see it going right to left. Always left to right, so this is the forgotten route of the Forgotten Highway. You can do the wraparound from underneath too. I didn't know that. So 64-bit Link, destroying a statue, has to do that. It's good to do it now before going for these energy tanks. Has speed as well, so there's a lot of energy tanks that 64-bit Link can get here. There's the one on the right behind the wave gate. There's Waterway. There's Retro Brinstar, if you want to go with the power bombs. Has 6 already. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Has 2 reserve tanks, so that's 8. So it only needs 3 more, if my calculations are correct. I'm not really tracking, but I'm sure we'll see if Belfazar ticks it off once they've got it. And then it's just a Meridia cleanup for 64-bit. Meridia Powerbomb, and you're going to get on the way. So it's just 40 Meridian missiles, which are all over the place. You've got to get the short charge at Main Street. You've got to go down both sand pits. You've got to go up to Meridia Beach. And you've got to go all the way to Dragon, but it doesn't have to defeat Dragon, thankfully. Wave Beam making this room easier. If you don't have Wave, you need to do a slightly tricky shot where you hug the left wall and shoot right, and you can open the gate with a super missile. But Wave Beam makes this room free, collects the energy tank. Is going to go down and get Waterway now, I'd assume. FusionWarrior in Meridia still has the pea shooter, interestingly. I find that amazing how far you can go with a pea shooter. This room is really difficult. I struggled with it in my last race. The sand falls are just awful to deal with. They push you down, if you didn't know. And so once you're in the sand, it's really hard to get out. 64-bit didn't get waterware. So has to go to Mama Turtle anyway to get the missile. So there's one energy tank. And has to pass Spot Wound, so yeah, actually doesn't need it. Ignore me, 64-bit Link knows exactly what they're doing. I don't know. Yeah, so we're gonna 64-bit Link still has a bit to go. There's a lot of Meridia coming up, so FusionWarrior's not out of it. I still don't know. I guess by this point, column 4, FusionWarrior is doing. Interesting to. Oh, that worked. Jumping and morphing through that transition. That's an interesting way of doing that I've not seen before. Did 64-bit? No, okay, it's gonna spark here, it's a bit easier. You need to get a really tight short charge on the floor to get these Main Street missiles. Sparking here gives you a little bit more leeway. You still need to stutter, I think, or maybe not. And then that little plant on the floor is the place where you need to spark up. Or you can just hug the first platform on the left. Either way, 64-bit Link getting that first missile. FusionWarrior heading out of ice. Might just choose to go the top route here. Okay, yeah, so 64-bit Link, gonna get these Mama Turtle missiles and might as well collect the energy tank along the way. How on earth you'd know these missiles were here on a blind playthrough, I don't know. There is no way to X-ray there, there's only a slight visual cue in the wall. That was very cheeky of DFOS. FusionWarrior having to bomb jump up here because no high jump. You can also freeze this Nova here and use that to wall jump off. I think that's what Fusion was trying, but not. Yeah, the wrong place. But that's fine. Can just bomb jump up here. Again, we're seeing all sorts of ways where lack of high jump is affecting them. 64-bit Link. This jump here is a lot more difficult without high jump. There we go, and gets it. And is going to spark right and probably go to Meridia Beach next, which is up here. Something you don't see in any percent, but you do see in 100%. You need to wall jump up here. There's actually 2 missiles here. One of them is very easily missed. Let's see if they get him. And does remember, there's some missiles here on the right. They're one of the more commonly forgotten ones in 100%, where people get 99%. And I'm going to go to the left and get the second ones. Can probably skip the super missiles here. Just wondering when 64-bit Link is going to get map station. So FusionWarrior heading up here is probably going to get speed. I would assume at this point they can't get wave. That would lock FusionWarrior out of too many rows. 64-bit, yeah, skipping those super missiles, just getting exactly what is needed, and then piecing on out of there. So this wall jump that Fusion has to do, You have to go to the either freeze these waivers here, or you have to go to the save room on the left. I don't think it's possible without, and manages to freeze, and that's good. Don't get hit by the cack, and they're up. And yeah, gonna go here and get speed. At this point, I'd say 64-bit Link is quite a bit ahead. Gonna go down here. Needs to get the ones on the right. Again, can skip the super missiles here and just go down. And then he's probably gonna go down one of the sandpits now. There's a couple of different routes that the 64-bit could take. Okay, it's not. It's going to go up and get the Dragon missiles here. And there's no... I don't really know which is faster. You could go down one sandpit, loop around, and then get Dragon missiles and then go back down the other sandpit. Or you could loop around both sandpits and then finish at the Dragon missiles, which saves backtracking. Because you also need the Meridia Power Bomb, which is on the way. You could get the map station when you go down the first sandpit, and then loop back around and go up. Botoon here, 10 super missiles for Botoon. Has a notably bad hitbox. You can shoot Botoon directly in the head, and the game will say nope, and your shot misses for no reason other than the hitbox is bad. Choosing to just charge here. There's actually a safe spot that 64-bit is in right now on the far left. Once Botoon stops spitting, Botoon cannot hit 64-bit Link here on the left. So as long as you stay on the left, you can take as much time as you need. But Botoon down nicely. FusionWarrior is in upper north air. Has got speed and is going to get this energy tank here. Cannot get high jump, so again has to destroy the Nova to open the door. The door stays grey until you destroy it. There we go, using a power bomb, smart move. And then yeah, heading straight on out. Cannot get that high jump, doesn't need them missiles. bit farming up a bit here. Maybe just for a bit of ammo. Not going to attempt the halfie or full halfie. Sometimes that's a smart move. If you're not comfortable with it, don't even try because you waste time attempting it versus just running into that room and jumping up. Meanwhile, FusionWarrior is heading on out of upper north air. And he's probably going to do Meridia cleanup now. Needs all 15 Meridia super missiles and some power bombs. So there's the sandpit power bombs. Yep, he's going to head to Meridia. 64-bit Link is probably going to get these missiles and then head left. Doesn't need to defeat Dragon. There's absolutely no reason to. And the time it takes to get space jump isn't worth the time it takes to defeat Dragon. Okay. 64-bit Link choosing to ignore me and defeating Dragon. Just kidding. Probably can't hear me. Yeah, this is an interesting play. It gives you space jump, which increases your movement speed, but you're going to waste several minutes here defeating Dragon. I'm not sure the time save is worth it. It does help get the sandpit missiles. Might be going for row 5. Clear space jump and skip high jump. So that's something I didn't spot, and I'm guessing Belfast didn't spot either because he already has the 6+ energy tanks. So that needs checking off. check that off. Oh, Belf's already beat me to it. So yeah, that's I'm not sure whether that's faster or not. Already has a 6 energy tank. Collect space jump now. The only difference, because Meridia Powerbomb is on the way, the only difference is Meridia Map Station. So I'd argue Meridia Map Station would have been quicker. But it's also the case that once you've set your mind on something, it's easier not to change your mind and confuse things. Just go with it. I know I got a double bingo in my last race because there was an easier row that I didn't spot. So that can very much happen. So it could be the case that 64-bit Link just didn't see column 5. There's quite a few. Even though the row that FusionWarrior picked was good, there was a lot that could be paired with it, and that can sometimes lose you the race. So 64-bit Link could have gone with row 1, column 5, or row 5. All 3 of them are equally fast. So that's probably won 64-bit Link the race. So even though the 11 energy tanks is time consuming, there's a lot that could be paired with it, and like I said, you need to look at things like locking your opponents out of rows, like. And also another thing, I don't particularly like giving out the energy tank collection because it basically ruins the chance of death. If you have, like, 64-bit Link now has 8 energy tanks plus 2 reserve tanks, has basically 0 chance of dying, and that can sometimes win you the race as well, is your opponent dying. So that's something to bear in mind when you're selecting energy tank tiles. FusionWarrior getting these Meridia Beach super missiles. The opposite of 64-bit Link. He's going to collect the super missiles and then peace on out of there. Doesn't need the missiles, whereas 64-bit Link needed the missiles but not the super missiles. So there you go. Yeah, the 6 energy tanks is marked and has been marked for a few minutes now. I'm not sure why it's not updated. So just needs these aqueduct super missiles now, and then that's the 15 Meridia super missiles for FusionWarrior. And then is probably gonna head down one of the sandpits and collect the power bomb, which gets these missiles. They could be really hard to dodge. I think it's the right sandpit. One of the sandpits has a power bomb, one of them has a reserve. That's a big time loss if Fusion gets it wrong. I sometimes like to have a map open when I'm doing these bingo races, so I can see what is where, because I'm not familiar with the map. And then it's going to go, not going down the sandpit. So maybe not doing column 4 then. Yeah, it is the right sandpit, okay. Where is Fusion going? Ice clip in here. Oh, that did a lot of damage, but gets through nicely. So the ice clip works. You need to get inside the hitbox of the Metroid there and then freeze it. And then you jump up and press up. Or you might be able to press angle, I don't know. But basically what you want to do is expand your hitbox. And that expands your hitbox into the top. And then the way the game works is if you're stuck in something, you can basically walk around it freely to avoid you getting soft locked or perma stuck anywhere. So you jump up out of the frozen Metroid, expand your hitbox, which clips you into the top. Then the game just allows you to freely jump through it so that you don't get stuck. With map completion, that's one category I will never do. So 64-bit Link, getting this reserve tank doesn't need it. X energy tanks. So is that done then? 8, 9, 10. That's 11. I'm fairly sure that's 3 reserves, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Belfast has ticked it. The bingo board isn't updating for some reason on stream. I don't know if that's SpeedGaming needs to refresh it or something, but that tile is ticked off. And that's 64-bit Link done. GG. And that's with an official SRL time of 1:01:28. And that was a lot of collections. That's a good time for the amount of collection that 64-bit Link had to do. FusionWarrior is... I'm not sure. It would help if I knew exactly what row or column Fusion is going for. Going to farm up a bit here. I would assume if Fusion is farming up, they're going to go for defeat Dragon, and that means space jump. So it could be row 5, but then Fusion has to destroy a statue. Which she hasn't done. Yeah, I'm not really sure what Fusion is going for. In terms of Fusion's force row, already has the 4+ energy tanks, which is marked off, but again, it's not showing on stream. Finishing Metal Pirate Room, self-explanatory. I'm not sure how many power bombs Fusion has yet. There's one in the sandpit on the way out of Meridia, and then there's 2 in Norfair, which Fusion has to go through anyway to get to the Metal Pirate Room. 15 Meridia super missiles. Already has them, just not marked off on stream. So he's going to defeat Dragon and get space jump. Doesn't have grapple beam, so it can't be column 3. Could be space jump to get into Lower Norfair. I never considered that. Yeah, if Fusion doesn't know the gravity jump, that's a dangerous thing to improvise if you don't know how it works. It doesn't have various, so it'll deal a lot of damage. So yeah, it could be space jump to get up into Lower Norfair. Having a little trouble here with Dragon. This goo can be really annoying once it gets you. Looks like Fusion is just choosing to use super missiles. Has enough super missiles that Fusion can just defeat Dragon with just these super missiles alone. Each one does 300 damage. Dragon has 6,000. Oh, so there's something interesting you noticed. FusionWarrior messing up the item selecting. He needs to watch out for his health. If you, and there we go, it's down. If you don't have any missiles, which Fusion didn't, when you press item select, the game skips over anything where you have 0 ammo. So Fusion had 0 missiles, and so pressed item select, and it went straight to super missiles. But Fusion pressed it twice because missiles, super missiles, and ended up on power bombs because it skipped over missiles. That's something that can catch players out if you don't use item cancel. Quite a few runners don't use item cancel, especially if it's on select. If you map it onto select button, it's really hard to press. I don't know if 64-bit is coming in for an interview or not. Doesn't look like it, but I'm here if they choose to. So FusionWarrior getting that refill there. Not an often used refill, that Dragon one, but probably a good player because the health was low. So here's a few areas where space jump helps. Saves a lot of time in rooms like this, long rooms where you can easily fall down. You can just space jump across, and space jump is actually quite hard to use if you don't have high jump. It just messes up. You don't get much height with each push of the button. Going this way for some reason has speed, so I'm not quite sure. Going down the sandpit here is probably going to now head down and get the power bomb in Meridia. I don't know how to give out bot invites. Yep, so FusionWarrior going down the sandpit. You can answer questions in chat. All right then. First question: How quickly did you decide on which row, column, diagonal you were going to pair with it? Because oh, can I do that? This is my first time commentating with this new system since the last commentary I did was the 100% tournament. Let me have a look. Mark winner. Is that it? Also, yeah, my name is in the commentary now. After all that time. I am now a commentary expert, veteran. If anyone wants to give a go at commentary or tracking, just hit us up. We're always willing to let new people have a go. And that is 64-bit Link. Hello.
Yo.
How was that race for you?
I mean, I feel like it went pretty well, although, like, I definitely had a lot of sloppy movement in places. But yeah, basically, as far as, like, it took me, like, I was originally going to go for column 5 until I kind of realized, like, as I was, like, because I realized, like, I was basically, I wanted to kill Dragon so that I'd basically have easier access to the sand pits to basically do right sand pit, then
Yeah.
up toilet and then like back around to go to right sandpit. And then I just realized that all that if I just collected space jump, then I didn't have to do a couple of things in column 5 because I didn't realize. So it was basically like once I realized like, wow, I can just like, wow, I'm basically almost done row 5. I just decided to switch to that.
Yeah. Because I did notice quite a few rows and columns fit with the row that was forced review or the column that was forced review. So it was kind of tough for me to figure out what you were going for. And then even when I settled on column 5, you proved me wrong and I went for row 5.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was just the space jump thing was just really convenient because I was gonna defeat Dragon anyways.
Yeah, it does help a lot with maneuvering about. So how quickly did you settle on the row you forced Fusion Warrior? Did
It took a little bit of thought, but like I was basically like I saw a bunch of the skip high jump tiles, and basically it was like that's probably like skip high jump is probably like one of the best things to force,
definitely,
just
yeah,
because of how much it restricts movement. And then I just looked at it. I'm just figuring, well, that basically row 2 forces you to go into Meridia and go like decently far into Meridia to collect the 3 super packs, and it forces you to go into Lower Norfair
yeah.
along with the power bomb collection. So I just felt like that to me just felt like the worst one to force.
And I also thought it was really hard to pick what would go well with that as well. Whereas yours, a lot of rows and columns paired with it. Fusion was the opposite, and I really struggled to see anything that fit well. They were all just kind of average.
Yeah, because I think that's also like one of the underappreciated things with dab is like when you're trying to pick the row for your opponent is to trying to figure out one that doesn't necessarily fit all that well with other uh with or that doesn't really synergize super well.
Yeah. So like the finishing Metal Pirate Room automatically locks Fusion out of a couple of the rows and columns already, and psychologically that can affect you as well because you're then thinking, well, I can't do that, I can't do that. Like, well, what do I do? And you might end up picking the wrong thing. But yeah, I'm still not sure. I'm assuming by this point Fusion Warrior is going for column 4 and just picked up Space Jump for the movement to get into Lower Norfair.
Yeah, but it did just pick up the map station there, which
Let me have a look at who you're facing next. 64-bit Link Fusion Warrior. So you will go on to face the winner of Scar Snake versus Nightwolf 16.
that should be interesting matchup. Depending on how that one goes.
Yeah, I didn't catch either of their first dab races, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know I did a
How that one
practice dab a while ago against Nightwolf, and Nightwolf just destroyed me in that one. So
Yeah, so that's a good that's a good question. How familiar are you with dab?
So I hadn't really done this before this tournament started. So I've done a few practice races. So like I think I've started to at least get a handle on like at least like picking rows and everything. But yeah, definitely a lot less experience than a lot of people in this tournament. Like
Yeah,
both just with dabbing, just with like movement and just general SM.
I did because originally I had a column on the spreadsheet that said the position people came in the last dab tournament. And then I realized there's only about 6 people from the last dab tournament in this one. So most of the people are actually pretty new to dab tournament, at least, not necessarily to dab. So that's interesting. FusionWarrior is probably going to head down to Lower Norfair now. I'll have to pay a bit more attention because I'm now taking over tracking. Probably about 5 to 10 minutes away from finishing. Not too far. There is another race about to get started up in 10 minutes, so that'll work out nicely. So once this finishes, we can then link on to the other one. Hopefully give a host, unless there's a race happening after this. Let me double check that actually. So we're on SpeedGaming 3. There is another, so we can. There is another Final Fantasy 1 randomizer happening straight after. Oh no, that's SpeedGaming 4. Yeah. No, Final Fantasy 1 randomizer spring tournament happening straight after this. But the Super Metroid Dab, the second match, is on SpeedGaming 4 in about 10 minutes. So we'll finish watching this and then head on over to that. Yeah, Fusion doing a nice gate glitch there. Not so bad if you have a lot of missiles to play with. And heading down to Crocomire. Yep, gonna get Crocomire, get the Crocomire power bombs, head down to Lower Norfair and defeat Golden Teresa. And then head to Metal Pirate Room. So that's the route that Fusion is going to take now. So do you have anything else you want to say? Any more comments? I didn't really have any interview questions planned out. I woke up 2 minutes before the race and there was no commentator, so I had to jump in. So.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in on commentary at the last second. I
literally haven't had breakfast yet. So looking forward to that. And Crocomire nicely done by Fusion there, collecting this energy tank. It doesn't need it, but it's nice to have. So let me take that off.
But yeah, GG to Fusion, and good luck to him on the rest of the race. And yeah,
it was a good close race at the start, but I think FusionWarrior got stuck at CWJ for about 10 minutes, and that probably affected him.
Yeah, I know, because it was like the same kind of it was kind of like that was kind of the situation I was in my previous race against Canadian Owl, where like I got stuck at CWJ for a few minutes, and it does kind of affect your mental a little bit when you're just
especially if you're watching the restream and you see your opponent like fly past you, and and that can affect you. And then it might also affect your routing. You might decide to take it a bit more risky. Because you think, oh, I'm behind now, I have to take a few more risks. FusionWarrior getting this power bomb, then heading on out. Going to head straight down to Lower Norfair now. Has space jumps, so I can just jump straight into Lower Norfair. Pausing for a second there, maybe to think. Has at least 30 power bombs. So it doesn't need to get the right side Lower Norfair power bombs, so it can just get the ones on the way. Power bombs of shame, I believe they call them. So there's nothing really difficult or stopping FusionWarrior. They'll be done in a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna head out, but yeah, good luck to
Yeah.
FusionWarrior
GG,
on the
and
rest of this.
thanks for joining for commentary. So FusionWarrior now heading down into Lower North. It's got to go left, defeat Golden Teresa. That's a couple of minutes. And then it's just got to head to Metal Pirate Rooms, collecting one Powerbomb pack along the way. So, going this way to Golden Teresa. That's interesting. Has space jumps, so Fusion can do this. This is something you never see other than in 100%. Interestingly, you need space jump here to trigger this statue. It doesn't trigger without space jump. Gonna head down here. Probably quicker and easier than the Green Gate glitch. Gonna head through here. And fall down. Collecting these missiles for some reason. That's interesting, because if you have too many missiles, more than 30, I believe it is, Golden Teresa does an extra... Oh, and the perfect space jumps through there. The trigger for Golden Teresa is the bottom right. So if you space jump up and right like that, Golden Teresa doesn't trigger. And so you can actually get into that little gap up there, and I believe you can destroy Golden Teresa up in that corner without triggering the fight. So yeah, you want to spam loads of missiles to stop Golden Teresa doing the sort of swipe attack that he has. It happens at I think it's 30 or somewhere around there. If you have less than that, Golden Teresa doesn't do that attack. Needs to watch out for the health. It's going to try and yeah, missiles don't really do any damage. I'm going to try and pin him to the side. If you can pin Golden Teresa to the side, you can basically have a free fight. Golden Teresa can't damage you, but if you can't, then Golden Teresa does a lot of damage, and you want to avoid doing super missiles just yet until you have him pinned. Because if you throw a super missile, Golden Teresa catches the first one. So for every 5 super missiles you shoot at Golden Teresa, you only do 4 hits, because GT catches the first one and throws it back at you. So you always want to, you want to head left now, pin him against the wall. Could die here. Don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot. See there, Golden Teresa threw the first one back. He needs some help, and FusionWarrior has unfortunately died and forfeited from the worst. That was a good attempt. Golden Teresa is really, really tough if you cannot pin him against the wall. Does a lot of damage, really hard to do. And that's it. So GG to 64-bit Link. FusionWarrior is unfortunately out of the tournament now. That was the loser bracket race. So well played. Thank you for joining, FusionWarrior. It was great having you as part of this tournament. And 64-bit Link is going to go on to defeat the winner of Skarsnik versus Nightwolf. So look forward to that. We're going to head on off quickly here because there's another race waiting. So GG to the runners. There's another race happening now on SpeedGaming 4, or if you prefer Final Fantasy, stick around on this channel for that. And that's it. See you later. Thank you for watching.